So we have the bearishness coming in, we have the market coming down, right? And let's talk about this recent action. We know we have this low right here. So we mark this area. And we mark this bar here simply because that's the very high that comes back down from. We obviously mark this high. You go this way. And we're going to mark this high because it's a supply bar going down. So let's deal with last week. So what's wrong with this bar? You know, a few minutes ago, Raphael mentioned about a high-end bar, an upthrust. I said that wasn't necessarily bullish. This is selling. Obviously, this market was a selling bar. Why? This is effort's result. It's true, right? It's true. Even though the volume was less relative to this, it was not. But the close high end. Closes that are high end with bearish in the background don't necessarily they're bullish. So we know that under this particular low, if people bought it, there are stops here. And then the market briefly goes under here. This goes across here. Market breaks, increasing volume from the sell stops to get hit. And the market comes back down here. Now, we know the market breaks from here. Is this close significant? So one of the things that people, I think the hardest thing for people is to understand which bars are important, which bars are not important. And every bar builds cause or does something, but there are more significant bars of reading of the tape that we can, okay? So the reading of the tape, this is from a bar reaction. In this particular case, this close does matter. Why? Because it's from a potential stopping action bar, increasing volume, close off the low. You see this? It's kind of a buying tail type of thing. The smallest of the range, the effort was to try to go up from this decent close, and the market was at lows. That bar is a significant bar from the standpoint that it was not a bullish bar, but a negative bar. The market came back down here, increasing volume. Not such a significant bar. Why? Well, because it's taking on a trend that's been recently. It shows some selling, not necessarily supply, but we're still within the trade range of the market. This close just tells us that we could test down to here. But this action here tells you the same story, right? That the market was weak. The opportunity to rally did not. The weakness here led to this, which could have led to a retest down to here. Okay? We could get the market from a potential strong bar, right? Potential decent bar failing. The failing result of this bar became this. Continued weakness. This is small range, everything is normal. The market attempts to spring to it. So is this potential stopping action on Friday? Increasing volume, high-end close from a market that's nearing the test. A spring from weakness, well, be careful with that. Spring from weakness in the intermediate term, but still bullish overall. But yes, a spring from weak, correct. Correct. Well, you're pre-election, right? So I would probably just scalp the markets and then be flat on Tuesday afternoon, right? The key is, do we have to spring here? Do we have to test the spring level there? Or no? Or can we react higher from here? We could do anything. Is this a weaker position that we expect to retest lower? Or can we go from here? Those of you that work with it a little bit, you know that this is somewhat of a shortage, right? Do you see that, the shortage downward thrust? This is what the NASDAQ did before it took off I'll show it in a minute. That's what the NASDAQ did in March. I'm not saying it's the same thing, but this is shorted downward thrust above support. Yeah, so we have to see here, right? It's election time, so your cluster closes because they're flat, right? Let me show you real quick or something. See the NASDAQ? You see the shorted upward downward thrust? You see that, everybody? The shorted downward thrust? It ended up leading to a spring. So this was a reactionary low. The spring of that low from a market that was shorted downward thrust. Does everyone see this? I did a YouTube here that was bullish to make a low here. But you see that, right? But this is shorted downward thrust that ends in a spring formation.